What's going on YouTube? This is yours truly, Dre the Plug, coming at you live with some more technical heat. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button below. Make sure y'all hit that bell button below so y'all can stay notified every single time I drop new technical heat. But let's get back into these interviews. Roll the clip.
Hey everyone, my name is Gabby, also known as No Way She Codes. I'm currently based out of Staten Island, New York, where I am a program manager at Microsoft, focusing on the TypeScript and JavaScript development experience. So if that's what you do and you use Microsoft products, let me know. On the side, I make my own websites. Currently not taking any clients, but in a month we will be, so holla at me. Ooh, that rhymed. And also on the side, I am a web instructor at Full Stack Academy, where I'm teaching adults how to learn how to become a web instructor to transition their careers in life.
Okay, Gabby, so what made you jump into these two different fields? You mentioned computer science, and then you said you switched and you got your master's in electrical engineering. What made you take these two routes?
Well, it all kind of happened accidentally. So when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be an oral maxillofacial surgeon. That's a lot of words. But I was honestly pre-dental, so I went to Florida State University, and my major was exercise science, and I got to chemistry, and I was like, yeah, I don't like this. And if I got to keep going, we're not going to make it. So I need to figure out something. And I knew that I already kind of knew how to code, like just little things from back in the day. I just didn't know that it could be a career. Like I had no idea. Like I don't know anybody who coded. I have never seen any like real world examples of like what it could be. But I was just like, I'm good at math. I can kind of do this. I'm gonna change my major because I'm trying to graduate. And ironically, my mom was like, you should do computer engineering. And I was like, no, because I changed my major when I was a junior. And I was like, it'd be like another 2 years, 3 years. I'm trying to get up out of here. So I did computer science. As I am going into my job now at Microsoft, I started working with what is called like node bots. So it's doing JavaScript and TypeScript, but on different easy development boards like Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, and stuff like that. And they would give me like a lot of errors I didn't understand. And it just really intrigued me to kind of learn more about the hardware world. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to school, and I knew I got tuition assistance. So I went back to school. I went to the University of Illinois Chicago campus, and I went back for electrical engineering, and it was a good time. It was a great time. Only thing that sucked was I had one professor give a speech about like jobs that you should look for as an electrical engineer. And he was like, yeah, hardware jobs really limited, so you guys should all just go into being software engineers. And I was like, I went back to school for you to tell me to get the job I already have. That's great. So that was it.
So what do you feel is the biggest benefit when it comes down to jumping into these two tech fields?
I'd have to say the biggest benefits is that you really can do so many things. There's not just like one lane or one specific role that you have to fit. So for example, you could, for a few years do video game development, but then if you want to become like a cloud developer, you could do that. Web developer, you could do that. And once you can do both software and hardware, your possibilities are like freaking endless. And the products you work on are also endless. So you can work in different industries, like General Motors, me, Microsoft. Like there's just so many different spaces that require this type of skill that like really you can do whatever you want. Like you can honestly venture into almost anything that you have an interest in. So that to me is a big benefit.
Okay, Gabby, so what's something that you did not expect jumping into this field?
Something I think was something I did not expect would probably be the major obstacles that you would go through as a woman of color to be respected in this field. Like it's already not a lot of us, but I think that when you go to a school and you kind of find your community and you're surrounded by others like you, like being in NSBE and stuff like that, you think that it's like there's so many of us out there, and there's really not. And then you're put on a team where people don't understand you, or people don't think that you have the same skill sets just based off of where you come from. And that could be very, very frustrating. I feel like I've been put in a lot of testy situations where people have said certain things or done certain things that to them it's like, oh, it wasn't like that, but it's like I'm taking it personal. And that's just on a personal level. And then it's the fact of people not giving you work or people not thinking you're smart enough and constantly always having to surpass expectations. So I will say that has been something I didn't expect. I didn't think there'd be a lot of those trials and tribulations.
Okay, so what drew you into your side hustle? You said you also make websites on the side. You also teach people, how to be a full stack developer on the side. What got you into those two things?
I think it's a few things. So ever since I got my degree in computer science, I've always had people be like, "Can you build me a website? Can you help me do this? Can you whatever, whatever?" And I've always been like, "Nah," or I help my friends out, or like whatever. And then once the pandemic hit, I was just bored. I was bored. I was bored, and I was like, what can I be doing with this time? How can I be leveraging my skills? So I decided that I would just start making websites. It's fun. It's creative and not really stuck into one lane. And I think I've always been searching for a way to be more creative at my job because I really just build developer tools. So how can I kind of bring the skills that I have into another space that allows me to align with other interests I have, whether it's like music or fashion or stuff like that. So creating boutiques, and I made like a rapper's webpage. Like there's really cool stuff where it's like it allows me to kind of take this skill and align it with different things. So that the pandemic really showed me that I can do this. And then this past year, I created an LLC and I was like, all right, let's do this. So it's been pretty fun. Then teaching has always been a passion of mine since I switched to computer science, because I really do feel like a great teacher is what can really make or break you in this field if you have the right mentorship and right guidance. Like, for example, in undergrad, I had a terrible mobile apps teacher. Hence, I would never, I am like so against building mobile apps. I don't want people to ask me. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to do it. And it's such a like fruitful industry, but like I just have such a bad taste in my mouth. And I think that a lot of my field has been me trying to figure it out on my own. So I want to be able to be like a good guiding light for someone trying to get into this field, because it's possible for many people to do what I do. It's just they don't always have the right people guiding them or the right resources. So I would love to be that resource.
Okay, Gabrielle, what's one thing that you could tell the viewer about yourself that you haven't mentioned already?
So something I would mention to a viewer who is seeing me for the first time is that I am a regular person just like them. I think that when people tend to see people on social media and deem them as successful, or that it seems that they have their life together or they're killing it, you tend to compare yourself to them. And it's just like, I have my own trials and tribulations that I go through every day. So even though on social media, it seems like my life is perfect, it's not. So at the end of the day, don't compare yourself to others. You could use my story or someone else's story as inspiration towards your goals or, mentorship and things like that. But just remember that we're all people and we're all going through something, and nothing is ever what it seems. So that's it.
Okay, Gabby, so what exactly do you do at Microsoft?
At Microsoft, I'm actually not a software engineer anymore. I recently transitioned into being a program manager. So I am a program manager over the JavaScript and TypeScript development experience in Visual Studio. So essentially, I have to make sure all the tooling, editing, and overall running project experience works well in Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code, and Visual Studio for Mac, which are the three main development editors or integrated development environments that Microsoft creates. So my everyday is really just, I talk to a lot of customers, I look through surveys, I do a lot of research and try to figure out like what is needed from my community. And I pitch new features or full on new products and see like, okay, it's a good idea for my engineers to build, it's not a good idea for engineers to build. And I also work with existing products to make sure like we're keeping up with it. Are there any major bugs? We need to improve it, add more features to it, stuff like that. So,
Okay, Gabby, so what's your origin story, as to how you got into coding? Everybody kind of have their whole background of their whole story of how they actually got into it.
So I feel like origin story makes it sound like some type of superhero because it's what they be having. But I guess my origin story and how I started to code, it started with MySpace. So if you don't know what MySpace is, then you might be either too young or too old to talk about it. But MySpace back in the day, I feel like allowed all of us to code. We just didn't know that's what we were doing. And so we would all be editing our profiles and getting those like secret codes to copy and paste to like hide your top 5 friends, or add, effects, or hide the little music thing. I always hid my music thing because I didn't want people to steal my songs. But for some reason, by accident, I accidentally found like a view that allowed you to edit the page source. So I'm editing all of the code that I can see. I no longer see boxes that say like about me or whatever. I see like just straight code. And there was HTML and JavaScript, and it made sense to me. I don't know, I just started reading it and I was like, oh, okay, like this is this and this is that. HTML is pretty easy to read. It's more, like a skeleton and structure. So it's easy to align with stuff. But when it got into the JavaScript and, you're dealing with like special effects, or you're dealing with, I don't know, just certain features that you can't do in HTML. A lot of that is like math based. So I'm seeing like things like are set on timers and stuff like that. So I wasn't like 110% on the JavaScript, but I could at least get like a good like 60% of what it was doing. I understand like, okay, it's hiding my friends by doing this, or showing this effect by doing this kind of thing. And that's why when I said like I got to college and I knew like I kind of could code, it came from that. Like I was like, okay, I know, my profile was hitting. I'm just saying, all my friends kept asking me like how you did that, or why did it look like that? So it's just like, okay. And so I guess that's my origin story and how I learned how to code. I just didn't know, like I said, it was like a skill you could be paid for then. So I didn't like look into it.
Okay, Gabby, so what's your contact information for those people that want to reach out to you, or, even want to get a website created?
Okay, I'd say the best way to get in contact with me is honestly my Instagram page, at nowayshecodes. Very simple, straightforward. My contact information as far as email is on there. I took down my website for now because I'm not taking any clients, but like I said, if you want to stay tuned for when I am taking new website clients, that'll be in like the next few weeks or so. Instagram is the way. If you just have any questions at all about my experiences or learning how to code and stuff like that, it's still Instagram. I'm always on it. I will get probably to you faster on that than email. So at nowayshecodes, follow me, I follow back.
And that concludes this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really do help my channel when it comes down to the YouTube algorithm. If you guys have any questions regarding anything, just hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on the gram at DreDaPlug123. And then also go check out my other YouTube channel. This is actually my second channel. My first one was called Andre ClassicCuts. I basically go in and give tutorials about all types of different haircuts. I actually show people how to do different type of things with the clippers that has never been done. And I pretty much go into detail as to why certain things happen. So definitely go check out that channel. Besides that, be on the lookout for my next content that's dropping. Be on the lookout for it because it's coming real soon. And I'm out.